There's an eerie hush over the neighborhood in South Chicago. Somebody had been breaking into houses, looking to sexually assault women. Authorities on high alert.
There were police, but on foot. So when the policemen walked to watch, swinging the nightstick, and there were gas lamps.
The man using the blanket of night to pray.
Eventually, he went to my grandparents' house. He snuck in, up the rear stairway outside, and through the window. He went upstairs, and he turned off the gas light in the hallway.
A child is standing in her bedroom, confused by this shadowy figure who wasn't her father or brother. The man lifted her nightgown and started to molest her.
She said, "Who's that?" And he said, "It is I." Then he walked out, and there were at least 2 gunshots. He caught his own killer. This was in the Chicago Tribune. This is a picture of my grandma, Clarence, and Florence in the police station shortly after the crime was committed.
Dean Ducharme was born in Chicago, but has lived in Arizona for more than 60 years. He's 86 years old and sharp as a tack. It's a trait he likely gets from his grandfather, Clarence Hiller.
He was a freight agent for the Rock Island Railroad in Washington Heights, which is on the far south side of Chicago. A freight agent in the dawning of the railroad was a big deal.
Clarence had 4 children, including Dean's mother, Alice, who at the time of her father's murder was just 16 months old. When a man broke into their home that September night, those children had no idea they'd lose their father. Clarence confronted the intruder on the staircase to protect his family. They tumbled down and shots rang out.
One went through his arm and his shoulder, and the other one went right through his heart.
The killer took off running down the street, running right into police.
He was suspicious enough that they took him down with them when they went into the police station. So he gives him a false name.
But the man was on parole, so police quickly learned his real identity was Thomas Jennings. Jennings had unknowingly made a fatal flaw on his way out of the Hiller home, though. Hours prior, Clarence was busy working in the backyard.
He had painted the house, and he had painted the back porch. Well, evidently, when the perpetrator went up to get through the window, he put his, I believe, his left hand on the railing.
4 fingerprints in the paint, catching a detective's eye.
And they were smart enough to saw a section off.
Fingerprint analysis in detective work was fairly new, but during Jennings' trial in 1911, 4 different experts agreed the prints on the railing matched Jennings. And for the first time in United States history, this judge allowed fingerprints to be admissible in court. That led to a conviction. Jennings hanged to death.
That trial changed the course of forensic and criminal trials forever.
That's right. That's right.
Clarence Hiller had no idea painting his house that day would set a new precedent for thousands and thousands of trials to come, to the point that over 100 years later, articles are still being written about it.
2020. So they're still talking about it.
This comes up in the Chicago newspapers every couple of years.
After years of diving into his own family research, Dean Ducharme has settled on this as the legacy of the grandfather he never got a chance to meet.
A man doing what he has to do to protect his family. Paid for with his life. I guess the rest is kind of history.